Welcome back to Outrage Science Bites, where we dissect the forces fueling outrage in our world and what we can do about it, all in bite-sized episodes. I'm your host, David Beckmeyer, and this week we're exploring paths forward in a world shaped by constant outrage. Today we're focusing on the heavy toll outrage takes on mental health, not just on an individual level, but on society as a whole. When we think about the constant flood of outrage, whether from news, social media, or political rhetoric, it can feel overwhelming. And that's not just a feeling. Research shows that living in a state of perpetual outrage can have severe psychological consequences. Let's start with the individual impact. When we encounter outrage-driven content, it triggers a fight or flight response. Our brain perceives threats, releasing stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. While these reactions can be helpful in short bursts, prolonged exposure to outrage leaves us in a state of chronic stress. This constant activation of our stress response is linked to anxiety, depression, sleep disturbances, and even physical health problems like high blood pressure. Beyond the physiological effects, this level of anger and frustration can warp our worldview. It becomes easy to see others as enemies, creating an us versus them mentality. This erodes empathy and fuels tribalism, leaving us not only stressed, but disconnected from those who think differently. Now let's zoom out to the societal level. When entire communities are caught in this cycle of outrage, the effects ripple outwards. Social cohesion weakens, trust in institutions declines, and political discourse becomes toxic. Instead of constructive conversations, we get shouting matches. Instead of healthy debate, we see polarization. And this isn't just limited to politics. It's happening in workplaces, schools, and families. Mental health professionals are seeing the fallout. According to recent studies, rates of anxiety and depression have skyrocketed in parallel with the rise of outrage media. Young people in particular are struggling to navigate a world that seems more divided than ever. So, what can we do? The first step is awareness, recognizing that outrage is often manufactured, whether for clicks, votes, or ratings, helps us resist the pull. We can reclaim control by setting boundaries, practicing digital detoxes, and choosing media sources that prioritize thoughtful analysis over emotional manipulation. But there's a broader social solution too. Just as toxic environments breed toxic behavior, positive environments can foster resilience. By investing in mental health resources, promoting media literacy, and encouraging open dialogue, we can reduce the physical toll of outrage. The truth is, while outrage will always exist, we don't have to let it dominate our lives or our society. As we move forward this week, we'll explore strategies for cultivating resilience and rebuilding trust. Outrage doesn't have to define us. Together, we can turn down the temperature and create a healthier, more connected world. Thanks for listening to Outrage Science Bites. If you enjoyed today's episode, you may want to check out the long-form Outrage Overload podcast. Visit outrageoverload.net for past episodes, links, and contact information. See you next time as we continue exploring the path forward.